The cafe was quiet, filled with the soft murmur of conversations and the gentle clinking of silverware against plates. Mia sat by the window, her hands trembling slightly as she stared out at the street. The rain drizzled outside, droplets blurring the view, but her mind was elsewhere, stuck in a time long past, haunted by a love that had once been everything. She glanced at the watch on her wrist. Any minute now, Alex would walk through that door. The thought made her heart race, but not with the excitement or joy she had once felt. This time it was different. This time, it wasn't a meeting filled with warmth or the ease of shared laughter. It was the reckoning of years of lies, of deception, of a truth that Mia had buried so deep she had almost forgotten it herself. Almost. When she had met Alex all those years ago, Mia had been living a life that wasn't her own. She had moved to the city under a new name, with a new identity, leaving behind a past she had desperately wanted to escape. She had thought that by reinventing herself, she could finally be free, that she could shed the weight of her old life and start fresh, with no one to judge her or question her choices. And for a while it worked. In her new life, she was Sarah, not Mia, the carefree, spontaneous woman who had fallen in love with Alex. She had told herself that it didn't matter, that the past wasn't important, that Alex loved who she was now, not who she had been before. They had spent a few blissful years together, years filled with adventure and joy, as Mia built a new life on the foundations of a lie. But no lie can last forever. The cracks had started to show after a few years, when Alex began asking questions about her past. Innocent, curious questions that anyone would ask. But to Mia, they felt like daggers, poking at the fragile facade she had built. Why didn't she talk about her childhood? Why didn't she ever mention her family? What was she running from? Instead of coming clean, Mia did the only thing she knew how to do. She ran again. She left without a word, disappearing from Alex's life as suddenly as she had entered it. She hadn't even left a note, too afraid of what the truth might do, too afraid to face the consequences of the web of lies she had spun. Years passed and Mia tried to forget. She tried to move on, telling herself that it was for the best, that Alex was better off without her. But no matter how hard she tried, the guilt gnawed at her. Every time she thought about Alex, the weight of what she had done pressed down on her, suffocating her with regret. And then, a few weeks ago, she had received the message. A simple note, left in her inbox, with a subject line that sent her heart into overdrive. "We need to talk." It was from Alex. The message was brief. Alex had found her, somehow, despite the years of silence, despite the distance she had tried to put between them. And now Alex wanted answers, wanted the truth. Mia didn't know how to respond at first. Part of her wanted to ignore it, to disappear again, to run as she always had. But another part of her, the part that had carried the burden of her lies for so long, knew that she couldn't run forever. She owed Alex the truth even if it was years too late. The door to the cafe opened, and Mia's breath caught in her throat. Alex stepped inside, shaking off the rain, scanning the room until their eyes met. Mia's heart skipped a beat. Alex looked the same, though older, more worn by time. There was no smile, no warmth in their gaze, just a quiet intensity that made Mia's stomach churn. Alex walked over to the table, sitting down across from her without a word. For a moment, they just stared at each other, the weight of everything unspoken hanging in the air between them. "Mia," Alex said finally, the name sounding strange after all these years. It was the first time Alex had ever spoken her real name. Mia nodded, swallowing hard. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I should have told you the truth." Alex's expression was unreadable, a mixture of hurt and anger and something else, something Mia couldn't quite place. "Why didn't you?" Alex asked, the question sharp but not loud. "Why didn't you just tell me who you really were?" Mia sighed, running a hand through her hair as she tried to find the words. "I was scared," she admitted. "When I met you, I was living this other life. I wanted to be someone else, someone who wasn't tied to the mistakes I'd made before. I thought if I told you who I really was, you'd leave. I thought you wouldn't love me anymore." Alex's eyes flashed with frustration. You didn't even give me the chance to decide that for myself. You made that choice for me. I know, Mia whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. I was wrong. I didn't mean to hurt you, but I did. I should have told you everything from the beginning. There was a long silence, the tension between them thick and painful. Mia wanted to reach out, to touch Alex's hand, to find some comfort in the connection they had once shared. But she knew better. That connection was long gone, shattered by the lies she had built around them. Was any of it real? Alex asked softly, their voice full of sadness. Did you even love me? Or was that just part of the lie? Mia felt her heart break at the question. I loved you, she said, her voice shaking. That part was real. Everything I felt for you was real. I never lied about that. Alex looked down, their hands clenched tightly on the table. It's hard to know what's real when you don't even know who the person you love really is. Mia nodded, tears spilling down her cheeks. I know. And I'm so sorry, Alex. I can't undo what I did, but I want you to know that I never meant to deceive you. I didn't know how to be honest about who I was. I didn't know how to let you see all the broken parts of me. Alex let out a long, heavy sigh, their eyes still fixed on the table. I don't know if I can forgive you, Mia. I don't know if we can ever go back to what we were. Mia nodded again, the truth of those words sinking deep into her chest. She had known this would happen, that coming clean wouldn't fix everything, that some things were too broken to be repaired. But still, she had needed to try. I understand, she whispered. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just needed you to know the truth. Finally, Alex looked up at her, their eyes filled with a mix of emotions. Anger, sadness, and maybe, just maybe, a flicker of something softer. I loved you, Alex said quietly, the person I thought you were. I don't know if I'll ever be able to love the person you really are. Mia's heart shattered at the words, but she nodded, knowing that this was the cost of her deception. She had built a love on lies, and now she had to face the truth that it might never survive. I'm sorry, she said one last time, her voice barely above a whisper. Alex stood up, their expression hardening once again. Goodbye, Mia. And with that, Alex turned and walked out of the cafe, leaving Mia alone at the table, the rain still falling outside. As she watched Alex disappear into the distance, Mia knew that the love they had once shared was lost forever. But for the first time in years, she felt the weight of her deception lift. The truth had come out even if it had come too late. And though she had lost the person she had loved, Mia knew that it was the only way forward, the only way to finally let go of the life she had tried so hard to hide. Some love stories are meant to end. And this one, built on lies, had reached its final chapter. The strangers they had loved were gone, and all that remained was the truth.